Hello, welcome to the Xbox Capital channel. My name is Michael Chu. This is a US stock market recap video for the week ending November 21st, 2022. As you can see here, we have the Nasdaq Composite Index. We had this really long rally of 30 weeks, and we kind of have broken the red line here right now. So we have down the third week now, and we not only that, we have closed under that red line, which is not a good sign. And volume is kind of high, not too high. So maybe maybe the market will rebound soon, at least in the tech area. So I'm not sure, but right now it's not looking very good. Here's the daily chart. We can see the downtrend line forming along near the 1021 day. The other problem is that now the 1021 day is about to cross the red line, which is usually not a good sign. So, when we see something like this here, where it crossed 1021, the green and pink line cross the red line, and then the downward momentum goes a lot further, right? So right now we are just in the midst of, that happening right now. You can see the green line already crosses it, and the 21 is just right at the red line here. So something to pay attention to. We did have pretty nasty week here. So Monday, Tuesday, we make a new low on Tuesday. Wednesday, we bounce a little bit. Thursday morning was the two big news that came out, NVDA earnings, which was very strong with numbers. And the stock market event it did bounce in the beginning of the day, but it actually you see this gap up here on Thursday, and but it ran out of steam very quickly, and I'm not sure like exactly what happened, but some people think it was related to crypto. Some people think it was related to the interest rate announcement, like the interest rate probability of getting cut in December has gone down significantly. And then we have the employment numbers that came out pretty strong too, and still none of those were able to hold this market, and it just went straight down throughout the whole day. It was a very nasty reversal, and usually that is not a good sign for the market, like when you have a negative reversal. However, Friday we did go down lower, but you can see we came back pretty strong. But however, at the end of the day, it did give up some of that gains as well. So overall, the picture is still pretty negative, especially for tech stocks. A lot of the AI stocks really got hit hard on Thursday, and some of them continue on Friday. But again, by the end of the day, some of them did rebound. So overall, the trend is still negative because it keep making newer lows. You can see, right? Like it keep making newer lows here in the last six sessions. So and also we have distribution day here. Let me just quickly pull up the IBD signal here. We went from 40 to 60% allocation kind of in the middle neutral zone. On Thursday, because of the negative reversal, IBD actually changed the allocation to 0 to 20%, which is really market in correction now. So something to be aware of. We see distribution throughout the whole week. The number of stocks here way more distributed and accumulated, same as groups here. On the sector side, we see, maybe health was a little bit okay, like, it kind of stuck between like negative and positive. By Friday, it actually came out pretty strong, and that was the only that sector that is net neutral positive. When you take the number of stocks under accumulation minus the number of stocks in distribution under that sector. So we'll talk more about a lot of growth stocks that I'm following in the next video. So please make sure you follow that. But in this video, we're going to focus on a lot of the sectors and index and the mega caps. Let's continue with S&P index here. Very similar chart. We have a long-term up rally here, and then now we are in the third week of correction. Again, we broke the red line here, which is not very negative because that's usually that's where institution will come in to support, and if they don't support that level, usually we could get a more like an intermediate correction where it could lead to close to 10% or more correction. Right now, I think S&P is down roughly 5%. Nasdaq is down roughly 8%. and Dow is about 5%, and I think Russell is down almost 9% right now. So those are where we at. Like, we've seen more selling, we don't know, right? So it really depends what's going to happen. Looking at the daily chart, yeah, we also see distribution here on Thursday, a nasty negative reversal. Friday we bounce a little bit. Again, the 10 days is very steep right now, and we'll see if we get rejected. So we got rejected two times now, like very strongly. So this was a week, 2 weeks ago, and then this was this current week, and so yeah, so it's not good. Like the 10-day can be resistance going forward, so that's something to be mindful of. So as it bounce back, um, you got to be very cautious about buying even when it crosses above this line, because the key is that it comes above it and then it has to kind of hold at this level. So it comes above the 10-day, it holds there, and then it's able to fall through the next day to create this bounce, right? This bounce, this momentum. But if we don't see that, then it can reverse and go down lower, and keep making new lows. That's something I just talked about earlier. They keep making new lows. That is not a good sign. So Dow Jones here, it was a really strong index recently. It was the only one who made new high last week, a week ago, and then this week we also fell very fast, below the 10-week moving average as well. Here's the daily chart. We saw this really strong bounce to new high, but it was basically a trap here, and then it went down really hard. And now you can see the 10-day sloping down. Again, we tried to bounce on Friday. It didn't make a new low on Friday either, so that's a good sign. But we did see distribution on Thursday. But Friday's volume is stronger, so that is maybe a good sign. IBD did point out in the big picture column, the Dow Jones Transport jumped quite a lot on Friday. You can see actually we take the highs from the last four sessions. So basically wipe out all the losses this week. So that might be a good sign for Dow. But we'll see. It's still down for the week here, but it has recovered a lot. And finally, we have Russell here, and this is also looking very weak. It is in the fourth week of correction, but there's a but here, because on Friday you can see on the week it closes up in the top, the range at the near the top, and this was due to Friday's action right here. It was a big gain on Friday, 2.8% on the Russell here. And yeah, again, this is still in a very steep slope though. That's another problem. Again, we're looking at the 10-day line here, and 21-day is just slightly above it. It's not that far away. Usually, I would just look at both lines at the same time, and you can see, for it to break that trend line, it has to kind of come above it, and then just stay here, and then eventually like make a new high, and then we have a better chance. The other problem is this 50-day is starting to slope down. So that could also become another resistance level. So it might pass this 1021-day, and it could find resistance at the 50-day, depending on what the rate is coming down, and can come back down again. So something to pay attention to as we go into continue this correction. The 50-day here for Nasdaq hasn't quite turned yet. S&P is same thing, it hasn't turned yet. So the only one seems like it's Dow, Russell here. Same thing with Dow, it hasn't turned yet. So we'll see if we can find support at the near the 50 days. So it's one thing to come below it. It's another thing that it cannot, after a few tries, it just couldn't come back above this 50-day. That's also a very negative sign, right? Here is the RSP, S&P 500 equal weight ETF here. We also bounce on Friday. You see Thursday we make a new low. So the good sign here is Friday's volume is higher than Thursday, which is very interesting. So we'll see if we can bounce back. It's a good recovery, right? Friday is a good recovery for Thursday, but now we need to follow through. So this is equal weight Nasdaq 100. You can see the bounce is not as strong compared to the equal weight S&P. So for Nasdaq, it looks a lot weaker. The slope is very steep here as well. So definitely tech stocks are way underperforming. This is in a way the IBD 50 ETF, very ugly daily chart here. You can see Thursday's drop was significant. Friday we hit a new low below the black line 200-day moving average. And then again, the bounce, it's good, but it's not really that strong, right? When you consider this is a growth stock ETF, it bounced only 1.6%, and it's way below the 10-day still. So it might be more pain to come. So just want to, beware of that. The one thing that also showing, quite concerning is the volatility index has gone up. So on Thursday, in the morning we see it came down to the 10-21 day line here, and then again the reversal causes it to jump very high that day. It actually went as high as 28, 27, so it's still below this previous one. And then Friday we came down because of the gain. So but again the momentum is still on the upside, right? So it could come down and then bounce again. We'll see. So something to be aware of as well. Here's 10-year yield. So it did drop below 4.1%. This is at 4.06 right now. So that looks much better. US dollar is still very strong right now. Look at this momentum. It found support here near the short-term moving average, and now we are near new high again. So very concerning. US oil is just not doing much. You see a make new low on Friday. That's very negative. Gold, it's really at neutral zone. Look at how tight it's trading. We fell here, we came back down. Here we tried to come out again, we fell again. So, but we're not making lower lows. That's the interesting part. So it's just holding on right now. Same thing with silver. It did make a newer low on Friday, but not too much. It's still near the 10-21 day line. Looking at copper, it's also just going sideways, not doing too much. Uranium, nuclear, those more speculative area, longer term prospect is just continue to correct here. And the big story this week was Bitcoin ETF. I mean, a lot of crypto just kind of, I don't want to use the term crash, but it did kind of go down very sharply here. And even Friday, the bounce, I mean, it's not really that strong. Like, it didn't even cover the whole gap. So that's not a good sign as well. Going to next week, we have retail sales data, producer price index out on Tuesday. Wednesday, we have jobless claims. And then Thursday, Thanksgiving Day, so market will be closed. Friday will be a half day. We have earnings from Baba, Dell, ANF this week. Let's just take a quick look at the New York Stock Exchange advanced decline daily line here, and it hasn't made much progress lately, right? We hit a new low here, uh, and Friday it did bounce. Actually, Friday it did bounce pretty strong. So so the number of stocks up was like 1,800 versus 400 stocks down. On the Nasdaq, it didn't make it recovered most of Thursday's drop. 3,184 stocks up, 1,074 stocks down. So yeah, it's a good bounce, I would say. We'll just have to see if this can follow through on Monday here or very soon. So you know this week we have the NVDA earnings. It just didn't lift the SMH semiconductor at all. You would think with the good earnings the market would bounce on that news. It didn't. So that makes me even more negative about this. Perhaps we are going into a much deeper correction, something that is possible. And so don't think at one moment that this will bounce back anytime soon, because you could be really stuck, as it keep going down. And assuming you try to play this out, you just don't know how much it will correct. We have a strong run 30 weeks, and we could have a more significant correction in some of this area like AI related theme that has been really hot, right? So just something to be mindful of, and it's good to be managing risk at this moment, I think. Just because of course we all want it to bounce, but the action lately has just been terrible. Like we see two distribution days here. Friday's bounce, even on higher volume, it didn't regain much ground, right? 0.3%. That is very, very weak. Let's jump to NVIDIA right now. So NVIDIA is terrible to even see this reversal on Thursday. That like that should never have happened. And with that being negative, to me that is very negative. So yes, short term we might be oversold, but maybe again the problem comes back to why is there no buyers holding the stock, rather they want to sell. And so again, short term maybe it oversold a little bit and it might bounce back, but maybe investors are more kind of negative about the future, right? Maybe more pessimistic in that sense. So something to be mindful, and looking at this chart, we broke the lows of many weeks here. Um, Again, 10-day line is coming down. We really need to see it bounce back above 10-day line, just like Thursday it did. That will give me more confidence. Until then, I'll just stay out of this until it can resolve itself, right? So again, there is some very bad things happening right now in this area, okay? But we'll see. Next, we have Broadcom, very similar action. Look at this bar. I mean, we were so high up there on Thursday morning, and it came all the way back down. And Friday, we almost undercut even the lows here. That is incredible. So, this one is closer to the 10-day, so it won't take too much for it to come back above it. Again, it comes back above it, we need to see it hold, and then we need to see that bounce follow through day. This is AMD. It looks like this one has really given up recently. Thursday, Friday, it's a really bad day. Friday, look at that bounce. It's still down day. So not a good sign. I mean, this is not a good sign. It could come as far down as this 200 day, retest the previous base. There's something to be mindful of as well here. And TSM, very similar chart, Thursday, Friday, and you can see we make new lows. Again, the theme of making new lows is what makes this a downtrend. So we continue to see new lows. We just have no idea when this will end. And the 10-day slope, that is the upper channel line. If it does come back above it again, we just want to see it hold and follow through after that, especially on higher volume as well. That's something to watch out for. And again, we don't want to see the negative reversals, especially on good days. If it start out on a good good momentum in the morning, and you don't want to see it dissipate throughout the day. Here's IGV. Wow, look at this. I mean, this is ugly. I don't know what else to say about this. We have, not only undercut the black line, we just went straight down, way below it. We're near the 100 level before we saw a little bounce here. I mean, it was only up 0.1% with that bounce. I mean, this has undercut many areas right now, and we are in no man land right now. Like, just no support level I can see in the short term. Like, that's the problem. Once you cross 200 day, generally it could become a longer downtrend. So I would be very cautious about this. Let's jump to one of the hottest stock in this area is Palantir, and we are seeing very similar action, except it's not under 200 day yet, which means you know it has been stronger than many other stocks, but again you can see the relative strength just continue to deteriorate here. So we'll see what happens when it hit this 200 day. We want to see, we did find some, again, the bounce is very weak on Friday, right? I mean 0.5%, right? I mean this stocks can move 3-5% a day, so this is nothing. So just be careful. But let's see how it reacts if it does come down to the 200 day. Microsoft, I mean, this broke apart. It was trading really tight here, and it just broke apart this week and came all the way down. And again, Friday, look at, there's no bounce on Friday whatsoever. This is even more negative. At least some of them tried to bounce back to the top of the range. Here's Google. I mean, Google, I think they announced release of Gemini 3.0 model. That helps them kind of, stay strong this week. Thursday it did also suffer a big down day, kind of reversal as well. But Friday it was able to come back up again very strongly, 3.5%. Basically making a new high, close high, right? So a new high on the close. So really strong stock right now. I mean, ever since, I mean, this stock has been going for a while now, and obviously we all know why now, because Buffett is investing in this stock, has acquired, the last time I heard, over $4 billion. So who knows how much more he's buying into this, but this momentum is still very strong despite what happened on Thursday. It's one of the best looking chart for sure. Meta just continue to deteriorate, although we're starting to see a bottom forming. We are not making very bad new lows anymore. So, but again, we're still not clear We're not out of the woods yet. We have to. There's lots of resistance line coming down. I mean, this is just gonna be lots of headwind. I mean, for a while, I think. Here's Amazon with Black Friday coming up, Cyber Monday coming up. This stock is not showing any sign of life right now. Um, it did bounce on Friday, 1.6%. So we'll see if we can carry the momentum next week and come back above the 50-day here. Apple is another very strong stock lately, ever since they announced the iPhone 17, which have received lots of good reviews. And here we are at the very neutral zone area. You see the middle of the range here. Not going too far between this range. It's bouncing in between that channels I just drew. So overall, the RS rating are actually going up, because it's not going down. Because most stocks are going down, and this one's not. So from that perspective, it's actually acting really, really well. Here's Tesla. I mean, Thursday it reversed from the short-term 10-day there, so it did find resistance, so that's not a good sign. Friday, again, Friday wasn't a good bounce at all. There's no bounce. I mean, it tried to, but it just closed near the bottom of the range, down 1%. Yeah, so it won't take much to break to new lows again. So again, this the downtrend problem now becomes a really big headwind for most of these stocks. And Netflix have not made any headwind since they announced a stock split. It's just again you can see Tuesday it did bounce. It might be related to the stock split. But then Wednesday we come down hard. Thursday obviously following the market it went down hard, and then Friday again we're not seeing bounces. They're making new lows, and we're not seeing bounces that are stronger than usual to even come back above their previous day. This is very concerning. I thank you for your support. Please like and subscribe. But I want to leave you with something for the next video. Let's look at KRE. This is regional bank area. It is trying to come back up on Friday. And you can see here this trend line. We are getting close to bouncing above this. So we're waiting for, Friday we have a really strong bounce on high volume. And again, this followed the Russell index did really well on Friday. I mean, this has tried many times in recent weeks. It just never went anywhere. And let's see. But recently, you can see there is a change of character. We are no longer making new lows, right? We tested this low here from over a month ago, and we didn't. And look at how fast we came back after that. So we could potentially break through. Okay, so something to be paying attention to, and I'm seeing many growth stock chart that are looking exactly like this, where they're setting up to cross their trend line just like this. So make sure you follow my next video to see some of those stocks. Another area that has been really doing well is biotech. Look at this biotech chart. Like we don't even know there is a correction happening right now in the marketplace. This is acting on its own. Look at Thursday's drop. We went to new high, we came back down. We're still above 10-day, and then Friday we recover most of it and making a new closing high. This is incredible. So something to pay attention to. We have lots of biotech growth stocks right now on my list, and they're making new highs and they're working. So something to watch on my next video as well. Now retail has been beaten really bad. I mean it's almost giving me some sense of like bear market kind of thinking, right? And we did recently find support here. Look at Thursday. I mean, when you consider how bad Thursday was, it dropped 1.3% that day, which is not too bad, compared to the general market. And then Friday we have a strong bounce. So, whether the retail stocks are done selling, like I mean restaurants, you name it, a lot of areas in the retail space have been hammered so hard. Are we seeing a turnaround? Well, we're going to look at some growth stocks that are actually doing quite well, which is unusual, but there is some. So again, and these are names that didn't think they were going to become strong leaders right now. Thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe and follow my next video.